Morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Tuesday. I hope it finds you well. 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number. AllAmericanGold.com is the website. And, man, we've had some, I guess, some fireworks out there today. The Commerce Secretary was out, and he's actually still testifying, Secretary Lutnick, Cantor Fitzgerald, for those of you 9/11 people out there. He was the one guy that wasn't in the building, and he admitted today that, yeah, all right, you got me. I guess I did go to Epstein Island, but it was a family vacation, so I guess there's hopefully he was there with his, well, obviously it would have been great if he didn't go at all. I'm more concerned, I wonder when the timing was. Is this, I think it has to be after he'd already been convicted the first time, so kind of not a good look. Listen, not a good look.
People went to they went to that island to party, and some people's parties were a little worse than other parties.
Right. You know, I'm assuming not every P. Diddy party was a P. Diddy party, you know, and I'm sure that was the case. But, dude, you're filthy, stinking rich. Right, you can go to any island, right? I mean, it wasn't, I don't know, right?
Epstein made it easy. He just made it easy. He didn't have to actually socialize or talk. You go to a room and everything is provided.
Yeah, and well,
rich people want things convenient, you know, and that's why they got.
We'll see what if people start calling. I know some have already called for him to be removed, and obviously, I'm very, I hope and I think that he probably didn't do anything inappropriate, possibly, at least on that trip anyway. If you got, he's saying family vacation, so does that mean the wife and the kids or what? I don't know.
Think so, but
okay. But why go? Why
Here's the thing, Joe. Here's the thing. If you remove him, what pedophile are you going to replace him with? Because that's not the only choices you have are pedophiles. So, I mean, if you replace him...
I'm not saying that. That's Jason's opinion, but it just, I don't know, it's creepy, right?
Of course it's creepy.
Maybe it's different. Maybe it's different when you're billionaires, right? And again, like I said, this guy is so rich, and I'm talking about Lutnick. Yep. He's so like we can't even fathom his amount of money. We just can't, right? This guy could lose $1 million and never know it, right? I mean that'd be nothing. That's I'm talking, beyond stupid wealth. Okay, the guy had already been convicted, right? Of I don't know what the exact crime was, but I want to say. Sex with underage girl, years ago. Why go there? Right?
It's the reputation. He knew what he was getting into.
I mean, why?
He knew what he was getting into. Come on. These guys knew what they were doing.
Well, of course, they all knew he was a creep. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't that they knew. I get
the feeling that business got better after he got in trouble. I think he attracted more billionaires and millionaires afterwards because they knew exactly what he was providing. So that's what this guy is. I mean, come on, where there's smoke, there's fire, It's a cesspool, these guys.
It's gross, right? It's gross, I'm not taking my wife and kids. Hey, let's go to our buddies and party with him, the one that got convicted of child molestation. Let's go hang out with that guy. No, we're not doing that, right? I mean,
Epstein taking selfies with everybody because everybody's in on it, right?
And maybe he admitted it before, and I just didn't know. I mean, obviously, he should have just been owning up to this a long time ago. Anyway, that has nothing to do about what we're going to do today. Be ready Tomorrow, we're going to have our Texit show tomorrow. Iskander. Everybody can get in by Thursday already. I'll just say this already. We got a list of people that are wanting to go on Thursday. If you, here's the two ways to pay. They have ACH, which is essentially you're writing them a check without writing them a check. It's pretty easy. You take a picture of your check, blah blah blah, or you pay with Texit Coin, right? Because they're going to give you $1 for it. If you want to get in and you think you may have some questions or not sure how to quite do something, call today, because I think Thursday we may be too busy to call you back. So have your questions ready. We'll be back. 800-951-0592. Let's take a quick look at the market. We got a lot of data, too, to get to today. The Dow's up 180. The S&P's up 5. The Nasdaq's up 10. The 10-year note, 414. 414 on the 10-year note. Why so low today? Really bad retail sales for December. We'll get to that in a little bit. So I guess, a little, hey, maybe we can cut rates, right? Again, we're teeter-tottering here, right? Are we? We didn't get the jobs number. I think we get that tomorrow, but are we actually going to – is the economy actually taking another leg down? We'll see. One number doesn't make it. Right now, gold and silver, maybe a calm day. What? Yeah, maybe. Right now, gold's down 30 at 5,030, and it's been between 5,000 and 5,050 pretty much all day, all morning, just kind of bouncing around. Silver, it's only off right now. Silver's off $2.45 at $80.80. I don't know. I'm going to have to get with my wife here. We only had 30 of the polar bears left, but I think we sold them. So I don't know that if we do, I'll let you know. And I'm working on a gold special right now, but
remember when silver being down $2.50 was a huge down day. Remember
that would be that would have been $2.50 would have been a massive up or down day.
A whole 2 months ago. When that was a big down day.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Now $2.50 is like, okay, no sweat. What's tomorrow going to bring?
Right. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of funny to say that, hey, it's a calm day. It's only been a $30 move in gold and a $2 move in silver. And again, very, very good signs. This continues to make me feel better and better about the correction. And really, I don't even know if correction's the right word. Hey, it went up so much. Right, we had to give it a little haircut here, but the big economic data of the day was retail sales for December. And this was something where the weather was pretty good. January we kind of had some bad weather, but this was a pretty clean one. Expectations, they were looking for retail sales to be up 0.4. They were up none. So retail sales was flat, unchanged month over month. So if we can believe it, you bought the same amount of crap in November as you did in December. That was, by the way, the year-over-year number. The weakest year-over-year number going back to September of 2024. And obviously, December, you don't like to see these numbers in December. Motor vehicle and clothing sales tumbled, while spending on building materials and food and beverages rose the most. Core retail sales. So this is taking out, volatile food, energy. Also a big miss. They were expecting 0.4. It was unchanged. The control group. So this control group is what they use for GDP. Don't ask. Why don't they just use the actual number? Well, because they want to control it, right? It says it right in it, right? Control group. What does that mean? Well, this is the number we can manipulate the most. Again, expecting an increase of 0.4. It actually was negative 0.1. This is obviously a disappointment. Now, I will say this. November was at least a decent retail sales number, so maybe if you combine the two, it looks a little bit better. But this is one of the things that drove down the bond market today. And remember, we did get announced layoffs in January. Challenger, Gray, and Christmas said layoff announcements were the worst going back to the financial crisis. So, Jason, one of those numbers that people that want more rate cuts can kind of point to. And remember, tomorrow we'll get the government jobs data number that we were supposed to get Friday.
Yeah. Well, do you see any changes or anything based off this information, Joe, that's going to change anything?
No. It was. Listen, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad enough. Especially when hey, maybe they did some seasonal adjustments in November and kind of maybe a bounce back here. A bounce down anyway in December. All of this remains to be seen as far as what is going to happen next. As far as rate cuts, we may have to wait till I think we're probably going to have to wait till May, right? We're going to have to wait until Jay Powell is gone and or the data gets significantly worse. Take tomorrow. If we get a negative jobs print, a spike in the unemployment rate, I don't expect either of those. I don't expect it to be a blowout number, but I expect it to be somewhat respectable. So we'll see. But guys, listen, none of this matters. I know you're like, well, why did you tell us about it if it didn't matter? Well, you got to know, right? You got to know what's going on. I'm going to tell you something. We talked about it yesterday. The problem is debt. We have way too much of it, and we're having problems selling it, right? Now, Japan, they're having a bigger problem, right? But make no mistake, we've got a problem. Right now, the government has decided, let's blow it up. Hell with it, right? Let's spend, baby, spend. Donald Trump, big tax rebates, right? Trying to get a little juice into the economy. And that juice is starting, right? Because, if people are getting money back, a lot of them, they're filing already, right? They're heading down to get that refund. Then you heard yesterday the Chinese telling their banks, we want you holding less treasuries, period. Right? And when the Chinese government tells their Chinese banks to do something, they do it. So what that means is, hey, we're going to go to these auctions, and let's just say Bank A has $5 billion that matured. And now they got to, normally they're like, okay, well, let's roll that $5 billion over, right? We'll sell you the same bond again. Let's just say it was a 2-year note. We'll sell it to you again. How much more above the $5 billion do you want to buy this time? Right? You want to buy 5.1, 5.2. The Chinese banks are going to say, no. We're going to buy, and I don't know, is it going to be 4.9, 4.8, 4.5? Is it going to be 4? I don't know. But we know it's going to be less. Now, there's been 2 big bright spots when it comes to buying government debt. One is crypto, right? The stable coins in the cryptocurrency market. But guess what, guys? Right? The crypto market hasn't been great. And, of course, Tether is like, well, we're buying a lot of gold. Right? We're buying a lot of gold to go with it. But nobody's expecting the crypto stable coins to buy a whole lot more this year than they've done in previous years, right? Hey, maybe they're going to buy about the same. Then the Mag 7. See, here's the thing that people don't get. These big companies, they don't keep their money in the bank. Jason and I, we're just a little company, right? Where's our money? Well, it's in the bank, right? That's where it is. These big companies, Amazon, and Google, and Microsoft, and Meta, and NVIDIA, and Oracle, they, don't get me wrong, they have their money for payroll and to buy their hardware or their software and all that stuff, pay their bills. But what do they do with the billions and billions and billions of dollars left over? Well, some of that, right, they invest, right, in R&D, research and development. But then the rest of it, guess what they buy? Short-term U.S. Treasuries. Right? They don't lock it up too long because they may need it down the road. Yep. Well, and I know, here's the funny part. I know the Dow's 50,000. So you would think the Mag 7 stocks, right, things must be great. Well, guess what? Not quite. The Mag 7s, may not be buying back any stock this year, and B, have let it be known that they're probably going to be lightening up on their treasury purchases as well because, well, we don't have a lot of money left over. We're spending it all on research and development, and of course, things have slowed down a little bit, but effectively the Mag 7 stocks, Jason, they're going to be cash flow negative in 2026 compared to 2025. In other words, they're just like, hey, we're going to have less money, so we're going to have to buy less treasuries.
Yeah. Well, and you're talking the big 7 companies, right?
Yes.
Well, I just heard this morning from the morning show that NVIDIA might be crashing soon because their technology is now considered old. They're not keeping up because every year technology is doubling or whatever. And if you don't keep up, you get blown away. And the biggest technology companies in the world can actually be replaced if they're not on the leading edge. That's where that research money comes in you're talking about. Here's the other thing I learned recently, moving around looking. China's debt to GDP is so bad that it might not be that China's walking away from treasuries because they're trying to be, get away from that. They might not be able to buy U.S. Treasuries because they don't have it. They're
Japan may be in the same boat,
yes.
Right? Whatever reason you want to give, interesting. Boy, no wonder why so many people are buying gold. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Tuesday. So we had weak retail sales. We'll see what the jobs number comes in tomorrow. That was supposed to be out on Friday. Another one to worry about, BP. So this is now in the oil sector. Says that it is going to suspend all share buybacks and fully allocate excess cash to strengthening their balance sheets. And again, this is just, and I point this out because I told you the oil companies can't make money, at $60. I mean, well, I shouldn't say they can make money at 60, but not a lot, right? That's not a place where they want to be. And it's interesting that when we're starting to look here at where some of the Treasury buying comes from, right? The oil companies are another one. And BP now the first saying, hey, we got to conserve cash, right? The price of oil at $60, just that math doesn't work. No buybacks. It's going to be interesting. If the Mag 7 does no buybacks in 2026 as well, a lot of these buybacks have what's pushed these markets to the all-time record high. But again, I think it just highlights the amount of easing that is coming. It's already here. They're already doing it. Matter of fact, they've already added $100 billion to their balance sheet just since December. Now there's reports now that Kevin Warsh and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent are working on something, some type of relationship between the Federal Reserve and the U.S. Treasury. Guys.
Is George Soros in the room with them?
Right? I know it sounds boring because you're sitting there with the Dow's 50,000. So the Dow's 50,000 because a handful of companies have made huge amounts of money from the government essentially handed it to them for nothing, right? I mean, let's say so. That's kind of what's been happening. We'll see how it plays out. Can we absorb the amount of debt? Because you have to remember now, we have been in a cycle for the last, 13, 14, 15 years now, where the Treasury has made the point of let's sell short-term debt over long-term debt. Why? Well, because long-term debt's hard to sell, and we want to keep rates low. Now, we can argue whether or not interest rates are low right now. They are. They are. But they're being helped artificially because the Treasury just keeps adding more short-term debt. What's the effect of that? This year, the United States has to roll over a record amount of debt on top of any new debt. And guess what? That's the same thing that's going to happen in 2027, 2028, 2029. How do we know? Because they keep doing the same thing. Even Scott Bessent, before he was Treasury Secretary, he was all over Janet Yellen when interest rates were zero. Why didn't you sell 20 and 30-year notes at zero? Well, at least next to zero. Well, guess what? Look at what he's doing. And I think this is going to be the problem because some of the biggest buyers of that short-term debt are saying they're going to be less involved in this market. So I'll say this. the economy better get bad if they want interest rates to go down. Because, or, and probably the Treasury and the Federal Reserve are going to come up with some new exotic thing, Jason, to where they can add even more, right, more fake buying into the U.S. Treasury.
Yeah, and I think that comes from, it's been about a year I've been talking. I haven't done it yet, but where they let the big banks just print their own money. They can ease back regulations on the big banking industry so that they can not have to ask for money when they need it. Because let's just face it, Joe, ever since 2019 when the repo market was falling apart, the big banks kind of haven't been very solid for a long time. So, yeah, if you want to get more treasuries going, you want to get more borrowing going on, just make the process easier. Let everybody print it, Joe. Just let them all print it.
Yeah, you know what? It's going to be, I really am curious as to what it is that they think they're going to be coming up with. But it's going to be, everybody better just be prepared. One wrong step, and it could be here. It could be in Japan, it could be in China, it could be in Europe. I don't know. You pick it. And we are going to have a meltdown of confidence that I don't think the world, I look at the financial crisis and how bad that was.
It's going to be so much worse.
So much worse, yeah. And it's so much different. And I know a lot of people, well, how could it be worse? Because the biggest market of all, it's the Treasury market. It's the most important market.
I think
all fiat money.
I think people are more panicky now than they've ever been, Joe. I mean, all you have to do is look at a little history. Napoleon, even though he wasn't what he was, the Battle of Waterloo was getting ready to happen. I know they talk about how this, they make it seem like, it was a big upset. Napoleon was never going to win that battle. But when the Rothschilds scared the entire English market and told them all that Napoleon had won at Waterloo and he was coming, everybody panicked. They panic sold everything as soon as the markets were falling apart. And there's always somebody there to grab it. Right, Joe? There's always going to be someone there to buy it. This market crash, this worldwide market crash, as it looks like it's going to happen, sure looks like a power grab to me, Joe. It sure looks like someone's going to take huge advantage of the complete chaos that's getting ready to happen, I would say, within the next year to 2 years, Joe.
Probably right. 800-951-59. Jason and I will be back right after. 800-951-0592. Today's special is going to be $10 Indians. So that's your half-ounce coin that went with the St. Gaudens. They're going to be $2,725. That is $25 less than the $10 Liberty. And you just, we've seen it a little bit. We saw it a few times at the end of last year. Very rarely do you ever get a situation where you can buy Indians for less than the Liberties. And it doesn't matter if it's a $5 or a $10. Happens a little more often with the $5 Indians. Doesn't happen very often at all with the $10 Indians. A lot of times maybe you get like the same price, $5 less, but these are $10 Indians. Remember, the Indians got minted a lot less, right? 1908 to 1933 when they confiscated gold, but most of those years they weren't minting the Indians Wasn't the $10 Indian's fault. The $5 Indian, they actually engraved or carved in, they call it infused into the coin. And they thought that's where, the plague, the germs would get into those grooves. And so nobody wanted to have Indian. It didn't matter. The $10 Indian didn't have the grooves in it. Didn't matter. I think they only minted those 12 years. And I think the $5 Indians, they minted 10 years. So the much lower mintage, big sale today, $27.25 on $10 in, and right under $27.90 normal price. So this is a healthy discount, $25 less than the $10 Liberty. And I triple checked. We don't have any more of the silver. Help me, Jason. What was it? Oh, the polar bears.
Polar bears.
Yeah, we're sold out of the polar bears. So right now, just kind of let everyone know, Silver Eagle premiums went up again today.
Plus, they're shipping very slowly.
Oh, my gosh. So slow.
All you guys out there waiting for silver, you are locked in. It's coming. It's just I can't give it to you until we receive it. Right, Joe? Yeah.
So right now, I've got my first 2026 Silver Eagles yesterday. Very first ones. They were almost, I want to say 4 weeks. They were 3 weeks late. 3 weeks late. Because, let's face it, we started selling 2026 Silver Eagles, in December. I think Jason may get his first shipment for maybe today, probably more likely later this week. But Silver Eagles, just be patient. And what's so funny? Even the gold's slow. Really slow. Nobody wants to be heavy in anything, even the wholesalers, right? It's almost like, hey, we're going to lighten up on the amount of gold and silver we normally keep in inventory. And then, when Joe calls and says, by the way, I've got 50 of these $10 Indians, but when Joe calls and orders this and that, then we'll bring it in, and then, used to be I could call, order, boom, ship it, and have it here tomorrow.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when 2 Fridays ago, silver drops $30, and then last Wednesday, silver dropped $17. So in the last 5, 6, 7, 8, in the last 8 trading days, we had 2 days where we had $17 drop and a $30 drop. That makes people, Joe and I, we have to watch that. We have to be very careful how much we buy it for. We got to be very careful how, right, Joe, how you operate in a space where silver can drop $30 in a day. Now we're at $80, so a $30 drop doesn't seem likely now, but it sure dropped 17, right, Joe, when it was 85. So it's very, very tricky, right? It's very tricky. And then the wholesalers, boy, those guys are dealing with all the Patriot trading groups that are operating across the country, right?
Yeah, and I'm going to say this. I still believe this. We're going to have a crisis, I think, before 2026 ends in being able to provide product. There's just, right now, I will tell you that the gold premiums, like these Indians, jump on it. Silver right now, Silver Eagles, those premiums may be getting to the point where I start telling you, load up on junk, forget about it, right? Why even mess around when you're going to be paying $15 and $20 an ounce more, but it's just simply there's just not enough supply out there. And same thing with the gold market. There's just not a lot out there. And I just got this bad feeling when people want it the most, they're not going to be able to get it, or they're just going to have to pay a lot more for it. Right now, gold is still inexpensive. I think that is going to be the better buy right now. 800-951-0592. Jason, we'll be right back. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Wrapping it up here on this Tuesday. Remember, tomorrow we'll get the jobs data out. We'll also give Texan and Iskander updates. I will tell everybody, if you're going to be jumping in Iskander, it opens tomorrow. Make sure you call us ahead of time so we don't have any issues where we're probably not going to have a ton of time to hold your hand on Thursday. If you want to trade gold and silver to do it, call us. If you want to use Texas coin to do it, call us. If you want to just pay with a check, it'll be easy. Checks are going to be real easy, matter of fact. So, but get on the list. We've got some good things happening. I don't know if you've noticed, but for the last 4 days, you're seeing the TXC. We made a change in our IT staff, and all of a sudden now we're starting to get 95, 96, 99,000 coins a day. Remember, we can get up to the 120. I'm like, hey, if we get to 100,000, progress being made. I will say this on Iskander, you get a lot more coins every day. So they 150,000 so far. Iskander has been averaging about 140,000 coins a day on the Iskander side of things. And remember, same stuff applies to 995s and per seat. You just can buy a lot more seats and you can do some other stuff. But that will fill you in again tomorrow. But like I said, if you've got questions or you want to get on the list or you're like, I may need a little extra help, call us today. So we're prepared for Thursday at 800-951-0592. And I think tomorrow, you know what, Jason, with the retail sales today, tomorrow's jobs number, if it comes in light, now they're not expecting a ton to begin with, but if it comes in light, we may get, is it possible to maybe get that 10-year note down to maybe 4.1 tomorrow? Possible. Then again, though, if it comes back the other way, right, boom, we'll be back, back up to 4.30 again.
The standards, I guess, are just much lower in America than they used to be. So, because we know what they want. We know what they want. So they want to lower the rates. So it doesn't matter how good the news is. They want to lower. They're gonna have to, it's so funny that they have to make good news or good-ish news have to look bad so that they can lower rates and print money. Because that's where we're at now. They're going to have to change the rules again, right, Joe? They have to change the metrics so they can get the desired result.
This is why you have to have more gold and silver put away. They want to lower rates so they can print more money. That's all. That's it.
It's coming.
The whole goal.
It's coming like an avalanche.
By the way, this Lutnick thing, man, doesn't look so good. Yeah. I have nothing to hide. Well, then why didn't you tell us about it before? I did not have dinner at his apartment in 2011. He can't remember why he went to the island in 2012. He forgot. And that was after he was a convicted pedophile. But he doesn't remember why. He goes, but I did go to the island, and he had lunch with them. But then he said he barely had anything to do with Epstein. Well, if you barely had anything to do with him, why the hell were you having lunch at his island? But yet you can't remember why.
Getting a billionaire to come to your island is not an easy thing. There's something interesting there.